Hi everyone, my name is Sarah, and for my Capstone project, I decided to do the study of college students with single parent households. So, for some background information, researchers have investigated that race identity plays a role in college completion, and another thing that plays a role is also the cultural identity someone has. Um, One research that stood out was apparently one parent household is more emotionally challenging than two parents. But with all this research that I found, there's never been one that focuses on the college student themselves. So my study is based on the students. So if there's any obstacles they faced, or if there's like some emotions they feel because they only have one parent, um, while they're trying to further their education to get into the job they want and career. So my study is a mixed method, so it includes both quantitative and qualitative. So for my quantitative question, it was what is the relationship between the student's race and having a single parent in my county, which is Contra Costa. And then for my qualitative question is what is the student's experiences with only having one parent to depend on while getting their education. So under quantitative, I have independent variable and independent variable. My independent is race, and according to the ACEs codebook, it's based on self-identification, so how someone identifies themselves. So I myself identify as Hispanic Latina, and then the dependent variable is household compositions. And according to ACEs codebook again, it's the householder who has these other people living in the same house as them, and they're related by either birth, marriage, or adoption. Sorry, awkward. Um, and then all the information I got from it was from the ACEs census tables of 2018. For my qualitative method, I decided to use the method of narrative analysis because it views the bigger picture of the experiences. Um, So the way I did this was my target population was college students who attended Los Medanos College, which is my previous community college. The criteria for someone to be eligible is they had to be 18 years and over, they had to be in college, and they had to have one parent that they lived with. Only one parent, actually. Recruitment wise was I attended a specific class depending on the professor at the community college with the professor's approval. So the way I did this was I went back to talk to the professors that knew me really well that I've had previous, and I went and told them that this is my senior project and if it was okay with them that I can go into their class and talk with their students to recruit to do interviews with. The three professors that I talked with, they said okay, but the only thing they wanted me to do was give them my background information, basically telling them that I attended there, that I've transferred, and that I'm almost done and I'm about to get my bachelor's. Um, Data collection were done through interviews and sampling was convenient. So the students that were convenienced to me, which was through the professors that I talked to previously. For quantitative results, so for race in Contra Costa, apparently almost half, which is 47%, identify themselves as white. Over a quarter, 27%, identified as Hispanic or Latinos. And then the other quarter was variety. So 17% identify themselves as Asian, 9% identify themselves as Black/African American, and then I want to say like less than 0%, so like 0.99 and below, they identify as Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander and American Indian and Native Alaskan. For the households in Contra Costa, over half, which is 55%, were married. So it's married couples, obviously. Over a quarter, which was 28%, were non-family. Excuse me. Non-family is considered as like these group of people who live together that are not related. So it can be like roommates, coworkers, friends that just want to save money and live together, you know. And then less than a fifth are considered single parents. So in total, that's 17%. Out of the 17%, 21 are female householders, so just them, no husband present, and then the 5% is a male householder, so just them, no like wife present. After viewing these two variables that I had, I decided to compare them using a statistical test called chi-square. And after doing all the tests and everything, I realized that my p-value is less than 0.05%. So I reject the null hypothesis because there is a significance, and there's a significance between the two variables that because of being a specific race and the type of household you come from, it does make a significance to the problem or issue. That makes sense. I think that makes sense. Under qualitative, I was able to recruit 25 participants, but out of the 25, I only recruited 6. So after I went to the classes, I emailed them. The first 6 people that emailed me back were the ones I interviewed because they really wanted to tell me their story. So after doing all the interviews, transcribing, and coding, I was able to find 2 themes that stood out the most, and one of them was emotional changes during school. So the participants showed some type of emotions while attending school. So one participant who I have them under as G13, she told me that emotionally she just wasn't there at school because during this time her parents were getting divorced. So she was telling me that she was struggling to go to class and do homework and struggling to go to work as well because she didn't want her mom to have to worry about her as well. She just wanted her mom to worry about the divorce and get things over with, basically. Another participant I have is age 21. She tells me that she was emotionally drained, like she had no time for homework. Like she told me that she will go to school from 9 to 2 and then go to work from 3 to 9. So by the time she gets home, she just doesn't want to do anything. She just wants to sleep. So that emotional was just like, she told me that she was just emotionally drained and overwhelmed with it. Excuse me. The second theme that I found was living an independent lifestyle. So this theme was basically showing that the participants are trying to be independent and not have their parents worry about them, whether it's like keeping a roof over their head and having food and like making sure they have money in order to like go to school and get back and all these type of stuff. So one participant who I identified as T7, he told me that his family was really big on religion. Like they'd go to church every Sunday, and if every Sunday wasn't enough, they'd go like Wednesday night and Friday nights. And he had to stop attending because he needed to like have time to study and do his homework. And on top of that, he was working as well in order to pay for his tuition. So when it came to him trying to speak with his father, it was just like he didn't feel like a correlation. So he just like moved himself aside from it. Another participant identified as age 17. She grew up with a grandmother because her parents were basically living their own lives, like doing their own thing and stuff like that. So when she grew up when she was younger, she saw her grandmother be very independent. Like she had no husband. She would go to work. She was able to take her to school, take her to her medical appointments because apparently when she was younger, she had a lot of medical issues. So as a college student now, she feels like she has to be independent. Like she feels like because she grew up like that, she needs to be like that. And in reality, she's okay with it, but at the same time, she does wish she had help, but she just doesn't know how to ask for it, if that makes sense. Overall, like with this whole study, I did have some sort of limitations. So one limitation I had was racial diversity over sampling. So due to the specific teachers that I was able to get the approval for me to go to their classes, most of the students there were Hispanics, Latinos. And it was due to a program that they both teach for. So that's one. Another one was minimal contact with other community colleges. Since I only knew the professors at this specific college because I previously went there, it was more easier for me to get access and for them to get the approval than me going to another community college in Contra Costa in my county as like DVC or CCC because I'm not known there and the professors don't know me. And then my last limitation that I had was worldwide illness, which was COVID-19. Um, COVID-19 kind of stopped the whole face-to-face contact. Like I was able to do some interviews through Zoom or FaceTime or something like that, but it did stop a lot of other participants that I could have interviewed. Yeah. Overall, my study, comparing both my variables through the chi-square, since it was less than 0.5%, I reject the null hypothesis since my original was significant and it does have a meaning be due to the student's race and the type of household they come from. That makes sense. Study was concluded at community college, and the way I was able to recruit was they had to be 18 and over, they had to be getting an education, and they only had one parent to depend on. And then overall, my study is concluded that college students do experience some type of emotions and independency due to the, how do I say this? Due to the the absence of the other parent. And then suggestions for the future, I want to say is once you get like the IRB approval or the approval of the professor that you can start recruitment, I say start doing it there and now, because since it is college students and I was a college student myself, their schedule and my schedule, they sometimes didn't compat well to be able to do the interviews. And if they were, like I had to do first half of the interview one day and then I had to continue it another day, which sometimes it didn't like 100% happen. So yeah, I just say like start recruitment and doing the interviews right away when you get the approval. Um, Overall with this study, the one thing I like to do is acknowledge the professors that allowed me to visit their classes to do recruitment. And then I love to thank the participants that volunteered their time to do these interviews with me during school and everything. And then these are my resources. And that's pretty it. Thank you for listening. Bye.